going to move on to our proposals and the ones that are active right now. We don't have any past proposals, but we have a lot that'll probably be having their window closed shortly after this. And we've had Conscious up twice now to talk about this, as well as had a kind of greater, lengthier call specific about this. But we'd love to have Conscious just give another 411 for all our people that might be hearing about your proposal for the first time. It looks like we're already getting quite a bit of support for 2 million votes for yes.
Hello, yes, GM. I appreciate all the support that's been lended so far, and hopefully we'll definitely continue to see more to take it full to the hard quorum. For anybody who is not been in attendance for any of the previous meetings, brief synopsis is that there's a governance proposal out there that will extend our existing relationship with TaxiStake, courtesy of Mr. Marley, who's also up here on stage, such that TaxiStake will run what will become the new primary instance of our backend data provider, so-called named Unchained. And then we will cut over our Web v2 software to use that, and that will basically do a lot in a very short order to establish the DAO as a fully operationally independent entity, no longer dependent on any legacy ShapeShift assets or any former centralized ShapeShift infrastructure in order to continue serving its product to the universe. So that is the long and the short of it. I'm happy to answer any specific questions if anybody has anything, but I think at this point in time, the most important thing to do is get out there and vote. Any questions from the audience?
I don't have any personally, but I do know maybe it might be nice to have a word or two from Marley, who's on stage as well. You've been definitely the advocate this going forward, but I think there's some really exciting things about what this means to the future of our validators and what this means for TaxiStake in the future relationship the DAO is going to potentially have fostering.
Yeah, I just hopped up to show that I was here and listening because it does have us involved. But yeah, I'm excited for this too. I'm, I guess now that it's passing, or when it passes soon, we need to get together Conscious and plan this. So the implementation details are going to be fun to work out and stuff. So yeah, I just was here to show support.
Awesome. Thanks, Marley. Thanks, Conscious. Really looking forward to what this means for the future of the DAO. And thank you guys for all the hard work in putting this proposal together and presenting it to the community so we can all understand all the crazy high-end stuff you guys do in the background to support our product suite.
Cheers. Shout out to the guy with 160 Fox who voted against.
There's always one dissenter. All right, moving on down the list. We've got SCP-44, the proposal to fund the product and creative workstream. This is a proposal that has some additions of adding the creative workstream to the current product workstream that was passed previously. Some great details that have been going on in some calls as well about Gray Machines additions and things like that. But hey, Diggy, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Tyler. GM, everybody. Yeah, so the proposal is active now on Snapshot and Boardroom. There's very detailed goals outlined, high level and very specific goals for the product workstream. And as Tyler just pointed out, we are now the product and creative services workstream with the addition of Gray Machine Squad. And we also have a new product owner who's joining the workstream starting in December 27th. And we're hoping to also bring on another hybrid designer / front-end developer onto the workstream, basically Beard 2.0 if we can find one. So yeah, take a look and please vote. Thank you guys.
Good luck finding another Beard 2.0. I don't know if they make people quite like Beard, so
I know.
that'll be a diamond in the rough if we can find it. Yeah, maybe cloning Beard is the best way for us to move forward instead of looking for the unicorn out there. But we'll see. Maybe someone will put a proposal to clone Beard, and we'll see how far we get. And moving on to our final active proposal, we've got SCP-45, adding Coordinape to ShapeShift, and that has been presented by Seth. I don't know if Seth has permission to get himself up on stage, so I will gladly bring you up right now. All right, let's see if that works, Seth. Hey, GM.
Hello?
Hello, hello, I can hear you.
All right. So yeah,
So,
my proposal has been up for 1 day, and I've got 1.1 million votes, none against. So
some pretty good sentiment there, for sure.
yeah. So the short version for people who haven't heard me talk about this to death is that this will add a bottom-up payment solution and platform to ShapeShift and provide a 100,000 Fox fund to be distributed among work streams proportional to their budget, so they can play around with it and see if it fits with their contributors.
Yes, I know that I've already seen some workstream leaders that are very excited about the potential of this being riding alongside in parallel to what our current colony and workstream funds could look like. I know security is super interested in this one for sure. So thank you, Seth, for doing all of the legwork here. It's been super impressive to see how you've been able to hop into so many different work streams and also make a proposal yourself and really do it all with the DAO in mind. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you for bringing this cool new funding proposal that we've got here on how we can keep people contributing to the DAO.
You're welcome. If you're any nicer, I'll hire you to write my eulogy. If anyone wants to learn more about this, I recommend watching the video of the AMA that we had with them last week. I think that would be I did that AMA specifically so that we could have a more informed vote on this matter. So, thank you.
Really, I found that call very informative, and there was some great discussion from John and some other people out there that asked some great questions about how we could actually do use cases for this. So anyone who's still on the fence or confused about how this would work inside the ShapeShift DAO, I think that's the one-stop shop to get all your information. And quick shout out, Seth, big props for you getting a PR all the way merged. It's really, really cool to see community members who are able to jump in and do some bounties and get their stuff live inside our code. So I feel like that's a super big event, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that on stage. So Fox, props to you for that.
Yeah, you want to know the irony? This month is my birthday, December
Huh.
31st.
Happy birthday. Maybe someone will remember and tip you some Fox on your birthday if they're around here in the Discord.
Yep. So this was
Well,
Seth long before I came here. Anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, what a great month for Seth. So congratulations. I'm long on Seth. All right, moving forward. I just wanted to take a quick second to always mention what's going on with the process we've got here. Ideation Boardroom is still out. And we do have a process that moves from the forum to ideation to the full proposal that I think that we're going to have a future proposal maybe coming from Miss and Ron PTT that solidifies this. But when Boardroom is back up and running, when we have the ideation process, anyone who's voting sentiment is able to show with a weighted token value rather than one vote for one person. So right now, the replacement that we're using in the forum does not completely represent how our process was first designed, but it's still a better than nothing band-aid that we have right now. And while it looks confusing to have two separate posts in the forum, that second part of ideation will soon be moved back to Boardroom once they have kind of redone their guts of the Web3 service provider that they have there. So this is still the process. Mention stuff in Discord, bring it over to the forum at ShapeShift Forum as just kind of an idea. It does not need to be in a full template. Once you've gotten some communication or discussion with the community around the issue, it's best to move it over into ideation where there's a proposal template that is linked here on this slide. And then after you've gone through the window of ideation there and have some agreeing sentiment from the community, we go to live vote in Boardroom there. So that is the process. We've had a couple of proposals that have kind of hopped around the outskirts of that, and we've been adjusting those as they've come in. So if you have Miss or myself poke at you after a proposal for not doing it the right way, it's not because we don't love you, it's just because we have a process that we've set in place that we'd like to keep going. Hey, Mr. Nerdhair, how's it going on GM?
Hey, I'm just getting ready to push the button when you talk about me. That's all.
Hell yeah, happy to have you on stage. We got a couple people still before you, but join us, and we will get to you momentarily. Next, we've got the new and old forum posts in Ideation. I believe you're on the next slide, Mr. Nerdhair. And we've got Kent, Brian, Marley, Hunt. Please raise your hand, and I'll bring you up if you can't bring yourself up on stage. And looks like Kent, you're up first and ready to go. So take it away, good sir.
Hi, Tyler, and hi, Foxy friends. Hope you're having a good day. So yeah, this is a proposal we discussed last week, and we've discussed in the tokenomics chats. This has been moved to Ideation. It was moved 3 days ago, so it's on track to move to governance. But to remind everybody what this is, I'll just read verbatim from the Ideation post. This proposal outlines a strategy for earning revenue from the ShapeShift Tokemak Reactor. Specifically, the DAO would fund the Reactor Fox, from the DAO's treasury, and in return could generate a substantial revenue stream in the form of Fox or of toke rewards. So how much reward exactly? Well, given like a 50% APR, which seems realistic. Last I checked, I think it was about like 57, something like that. But given that type of APR, we could generate over $1 million in toke rewards per month. This is powerful because there's all sorts of things we could do with that revenue. As you may be aware, one of our ongoing efforts in tokenomics is to diversify into stables. We could just convert some of that into stable coins and get more diversification. We could use that elsewhere in DeFi to grow our balance sheet. There's like no shortage of like interesting things we could do. So it's a compelling thing. Of course, we could also figure out a way to give users or Fox holders those rewards in an indirect way through like SFox and things like that. So super cool idea. The primary risk here is smart contract risk. We're talking about potentially putting in a substantial amount of the treasury's value. Nothing that would completely deep six the project if there was a bug or a hack. But what's proposed here, and this is the big change, or pretty much the only change I made versus the original proposal, is in the original proposal I talked about a amount of Fox being put into this thing. Of course, Fox is pretty volatile, so in the ideation I've given you the option in the polls for 10%, 12%, and 15% of the treasury. And then if you want to kind of explore some of those risks and why we think they're managed, and it's why we think it's a relatively favorable risk reward. When I say we, I should say the tokenomics workstream. Take a look at that post, or feel free to chime in. Currently, the 15% proposal is ahead. I think at current prices that would be about 30 million worth of Fox. So yeah, that is kind of the main thing. Jump in, give it a vote, and if all stays unchanged, expect to see this in snapshot within a few days.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Kent. And then one last question I had is, did you guys have a tokenomics call earlier in this week where you guys did the deep dive about all of that? Or is there a good resource that we could point the community to if they wanted to hear some of the big brain conversations that might have happened around this?
We touched on that, I believe, in the last two tokenomics work streams. If you want to listen on Twitch, I apologize, I don't have any timestamps on those. I can't recall when, but I would say the best way to get your head around it is just to look at the proposal, and if you have any questions, just ask in that thread, because that really distills it down to the important factors: what it is, the potential rewards, and the risks it entails.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ken. Looking forward to seeing us really put to use our reactor to good work.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you, GM. Moving on down, looks like we got Brian up next. Hey, GM Brian.
Hey, GM, how's it going?
Doing well,
so
doing well.
I put a link to our Angel Vault proposal in the forum. My only update, it seems everybody's unanimous so far, so that's going well. My only update is that we had another market crash this week, and now I've I have this like fun feeling when I see market crashes. ICHI's price went through it unscathed. Next time we have one, I want to see Fox's price come through it. So without being touched. So let's get this thing up into the official voting and get that done. Just because it would be pretty cool.
Totally. I also want to highlight the fact that there's been some really valuable conversations had in like the tokenomics, or maybe it's the Treasury Management public channel, and Ocean brought in some good thoughts, and JP Nam brought in some good thoughts, and John is John, and yourself as well, Brian. So I wanted to say that there's definitely like a thought exercise happening on all sides of what's going on here, and some really great ideas have been brought to mind about what to be worried about and what this actually does.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is one of those things you just, once you make something that, I put the matrix in the channel, because once you make something that makes you bulletproof, you want to start shooting. Yeah. So let's
Totally.
let's make the Fox price invincible to a Bitcoin or ETH decline.
It sounds almost too good to be true for me, but seeing your guys' price withstand these couple of little blips over the last couple of crashes is starting to make me a believer and drink the Kool-Aid too.
Yeah, absolutely. I could totally see why Elon started hammering away on the Tesla Cybertruck and shooting it. Yeah. All right.
Totally. Well, thank you very much, Brian. And please reach out, folks, if you have any more questions to Brian. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them, or check out those great conversations that fellow Foxes have been talking about this to get caught up on what's going on.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Thank you. Moving right on down the train, we've got Marley up next. Hey, Marley, GM.
GM. Yeah, I just posted it in the stage chat. If you haven't seen it, it's only been up for about a day. Very similar to the Cosmos proposal for the validator that is already running and already paying the DAO stablecoins. So trying to propose a Osmosis validator to kind of hope I'm going to launch it. I hope I can promise this by the time the Osmosis integration is done. So that's the target. The Osmosis team is awesome. Love the project, and it's super exciting that we're integrating it into ours, and an Osmosis validator makes sense.
You've got my full support 100%. It's really nice to see how delicately you've been handling this TaxiStake and ShapeShift relationship to make sure everyone's open as to what you guys are doing. And I think you're definitely setting a great precedent for how we're going to be able to interface with more projects and companies like you guys. So thank you for doing everything the DAO way. Awesome. Thank you so much, Marley. Moving on, we've got, looks like Toasty we've got on stage for this SCP-52 proposal to establish and fund the growth and globalization workstream. Hey, Toasty.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, my man, on a Thursday.
Oh, yeah. So cool. Yeah, thanks for pulling me up on stage. And I just wanted to chat through this a little bit. This is we just went to Ideation today on our proposal. And this is to establish a new work stream. We're calling it the Growth and Globalization work stream. To kind of read from a little bit of the first sentence, it's going to, fund the globalization, partnership, and branding work stream. A lot of this will be focused around strategizing, implementation, optimization of growth campaigns, and making partnerships for the DAO. This is going to include some awesome stuff, like blowing out the LATAM marketing efforts and, really building out the globalization efforts there. With the Smith and LPX as some of the co-leaders. We're also including a really cool education for the DAO and just, kind of crypto and ShapeShift in general project that's going to be with some contributors that I think I see in the stage, Jess, David, and Seth. Alongside of that, it's just helping out with a lot of the PM work, for myself, helping over to product and, bridging the gap between a lot of the partnerships with the traditional marketing team, engineering, any of the other work streams. But super excited to kind of get feedback on this during ideation, and, really excited to be, one of the first work streams that has 2 leaders. So it's me up here on stage now, but this is a proposal going through the fund, essentially Hunt and I as dual leaders. And, this will kind of be a cool experiment for the DAO in general to see checks and balances system when it comes to like leadership and, having two people, two different thought processes that working together to kind of solve these problems and see how we can come together and just make it stronger as a work stream and make it stronger as a DAO. So really excited for, everybody to go take a look, read about it. I've posted a link below. Ask us any questions, completely open book, and just want to really blow this thing up. And we have a lot of contributors.
Yeah, awesome, Toasty. I'm really happy that you guys are trying to move at the pace of your contributors are, and it's so amazing to see how fast we can actually move with the DAO. So harnessing LATAM and the scalable things you guys can do in the future with that is something that I'm hopeful the community sees as an asset definitely worth funding here from this proposal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for having me up. And again, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to me like directly. You can DM me, you can ask in the marketing public chats and the general chats. Happy to answer any questions. Just super bullish on this proposal and, super bullish on partnerships. Even since having this go through forum, we've secured about 2 full partnerships for the DAO and, looking to bring in multiple per week and month and, really just blowing this out and making ShapeShiftDAO just a household name in DeFi and the DAO community. So very excited, very bullish on this. And we have really, really great contributors who we listed throughout this and, lots of good, if you like some PowerPoint slide presentations, we got lots of LATAM slides, lots of education slides, lots of slides and Google Sheets and everything in our proposal. So go take a look. Let us know what you think.
And God bless the hustle. And I would be also remiss without saying that we're going to have Pete Coin up here later to also talk about marketing and the funding of his work stream. And there is a retro scheduled on 12/21 Tuesday to talk about the previously funded marketing and growth work stream and kind of a look back at what we did well, what we did wrong, what we could have done better, and the decision-making process we've got. That'll be more of a deep dive between where we are now with these 2 work streams proposals. So if you've got more interest on finding out more information about that, I highly recommend you join us for that call. All right.
Looking forward to DAOing it. Thanks again for having me up here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And then the rest of these new forum posts, we've got Mr. Nerd here with a couple of them, and then we've got some people from the GRO Protocol. I've got Todd Sculper as the person who posted it, but I know there's a couple of GRO folks out in the audience. So if you'd like to come up on stage from GRO, please raise your hand and I will start divvying out invites. But let's maybe start with Mr. Nerdhair while you're up here and have been waiting so patiently.
Sorry, I just didn't want to lose the button like I usually do and be like, oh crap, it's my turn. Right, so I have 2 things running right now. SCP-46, the Responsible Disclosure Program. This is in ideation. The other one, the security workstream budget, is in the preliminary forum post phase. The RDP proposal, I filled in some numbers that were lacking in lieu of suggestions from others. 150 an hour for committee members doing their monthly committee work, and $15K for Hall of Fame development for the NFT contract proposing. I'm going to let that cook for a few days more in the forum to see what people think about those numbers. And I hope to move that forward to ideation, or sorry, to snapshot sometime in the next week. If response is positive there. Security workstream budget. I had this whole thing planned out, and then I went to the Coordinape AMA on Friday last week, and it was pretty awesome. And so I'm working on a revision to that to use Coordinape as the primary method for distributing funds to contributors for the security workstream. Because again, the goal is to have security workstream contributors be drawn from the more general pool of DAO contributors. So I'm thinking less full-time security people and more engineers that also do security, that sort of thing. I don't think that I think that cross-pollination and deep background from people in engineering or operations, for example, would be beneficial. So that's the summary. Any questions I would love to answer, or any feedback I would love to have.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any in the stage chat so far, but I definitely want to
something we can also help you to explore if you might be interested. But overall, the reason why we come to you is that we understand right now your treasury has mostly been in Fox tokens, but if you are going ahead with UMA's success token, about 2 million's worth, then you will also come in possession with more stable coins, in which case it will be a good idea to not let it sit idle until you use it. Rather, it could be a good way to keep generating yield while it is sitting in the treasury. And once you need it, then you're at any time, you're free to remove it for your day-to-day DAO operations use. So that's essentially what we'd like to propose. And I don't think we necessarily have a number in mind. It's really more to start the conversation and get your thoughts on how you think about the product, how you think about, in general, how you would like to diversify the treasury, and absolutely happy to chat more with the Treasury Management and Diversification Committee.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that was a great first high-level overview. And hey, Ken, GM, looks like you've got some questions yourself, sir.
Hi, yeah, welcome, Joyce and Alana. Great to have you here, and you really nailed it. You know, from a tokenomics perspective, this is one of the most important things is to diversify, but also generate yield in a risk-managed way. And of course, to your typical degen, something like a 4% yield is boring, but I think that's kind of cool because typically that entails less risk. And you know, I envision our treasury holding a variety of assets with a different risk-reward profile. I was wondering, for starters, if you could speak a little bit to where this yield is coming from in Powered. And it looks like you have leverage on the vault, but just with Powered, so you do have this 4% roughly yield. Where is that coming from?
Sure. So it is coming from where we now have 6 strategies that goes, well, we have strategies that actually goes across Aave, Compound, Idle, and also Curve. And with it, it comes with the stablecoin exposure in USDC, DAI, USDT, and Frax as well. So those are the strategies that, or protocols that are generating the yield returns. And then the way that we actually structure it is that both Vault and Powered has the exact same strategies, but then once the system gets the yields back, then it actually goes through a risk and yield tranching mechanism, which means that for Powered users, because of the protection you are given by the Vault side, you actually share some of the yields you have earned with Vault users. And that's why you will see that there are a difference between Vault yields and the Powered yields. But both of them are essentially coming from getting their yields from the Aave, Compound, Curve, and also Idle.
Interesting. So what determines what percentage of stable coins is used in the overall strategy? So I like the idea of having exposure across, or tranching across, multiple stables. So, you know, you're not betting everything on, say, USDC, and then you're prone to, like, you know, a regulatory, very bad day. But is there kind of like a dynamic allocation that takes place across all those stable coins? Is it more kind of is there a human element involved where it's sort of like, okay, somebody is actually assessing the different risk reward across the various stables and their strategies?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are 2 layers of it. So I would say that the very first one is there is a human element when it comes to deciding which strategies to go with. And I've just popped into the chat here about a yield strategy framework that we have developed to understand which are the strategies comparing their yield and then the risk profile, whether they have audits, for example, to understand if they are good target strategies to get involved. Now then, once you actually have that strategies defined, we then have a automatic rebalancing that takes place every time someone deposits or withdraws. What that means is then we'll see once there is a deposit or withdrawal, we'll see if we are being underexposed or overexposed in a particular strategy. And in that case, we'll allocate the new deposit to where we are underexposed. One interesting feature about the risk balancer, that's how we call the automated allocation, is that we also take into account how much power is protected at the moment. What I mean is then usually when there are a lot of vault deposits but very few power deposits, what it really see is then your vault users have, yes, they are taking on protection, but because there are so few power deposit, it actually is just an additional risk they take on, but not too much. But let's say if you have a 1-to-1 ratio between powered and vault side, then suddenly the vault users would take on much higher risk, because if anything happens, then they would absorb all the loss before it hits powered. And then that's why we would also be dynamically adjusting where we want our exposure to be. If there is a high utilization ratio, meaning a lot of power deposit relative to vault, we would then allocate more towards the quote-unquote safer strategies where it would be more likely to give us slightly lower yield. But then if this is actually giving, the utilization swings back to much lower percentage, then we are more comfortable allocating to higher reward, but also slightly higher risk strategies. So that's the way we are trying to manage the risk and the yield to make sure that there is a good protection for both, definitely for powered, but also for vault users as well, while balancing that the yield would be at a reasonable level.
Thanks for that super detailed answer. And yeah, thanks for the link too. I'm looking forward to checking that out. I have a few more questions, but Tyler, I want to make sure I don't bogart the entire governance. Are we good?
Good Spidey sense. I would say this might be best if we could either reschedule for an AMA with the GRO protocol, or else just a deeper dive and maybe a tokenomics office hour or a TDMC call. So I would say maybe we can take that decision offline between the GRO protocol and you, Kent, and then let me know if you need some help getting something set up on the calendar. And we'd love to deep dive even further than what we could on this call.
Great. Yeah, lots to dig into. Thank you, ladies, for presenting. And yes, let's connect and figure out maybe an AMA and further sort of potential steps forward here.
Yeah, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Lovely to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Thanks, ladies, and thanks, Kent, for asking the tough questions that are over my brain power. So, moving right along, let's hop on into this last round of new forum posts. We've got the Smith and Geekcoin with a couple of posts that have gone up there, and I see Peach already on stage. Hey, GM.
GM, everyone. Yeah, apologies to miss, but also thank you for reminding me that we go to forum first. Appreciate that. So yes, I jumped the shark a little bit, and went to ideation before going to a draft proposal. So that is up live, and that is to fund the marketing work stream, which is a collaboration with myself, Ethan, and Arena. They helped me all the way through the way. Couldn't have done it without them. I'm very excited to work with them, with the intention of growing around concrete social metrics, which are going to be used to spread the message of the DAO, that based on the content that is created by Arena's workstream, and then myself generating and I'm stealing this from you, Ken, I'm sorry, a series of dashboards that are focused on two things. One, the points of revenue for the DAO within our own product. So that would be the V2 staking contracts that people can earn yield on the digital assets from, and also with a focus on activated Fox, which is, I don't know if it's the right term, love feedback on that, but essentially Fox that is locked in some sort of contract for a reason, whether it's generating yield or whatever it may be. With the idea being that, what we are doing should be able to be tracked to increases in those metrics. We should be able to lock up more digital assets into yield generating opportunities within our own product, which then generates more yield for the DAO, generates more revenue for the DAO, which allows us to grow. And then if people do choose to stake their Fox or to activate their Fox elsewhere, it is at minimum a sign that people are holding on to Fox, and also, they could lead to partnerships or mutually beneficial relationships in the future. And so the idea being that, any of the messaging that we're putting out can be tested against how those metrics move one way or the other. It's basically to create, in the short version, to create a Workstream that is going to create a marketing engine for the DAO, that we are going to be responsible for creating the content, actually making everything that needs to be done, releasing it into the wild, tracking it, and bringing it back to the DAO for it to analyze. So that's a big, that is what that is about. And the other one is the first term review.
With our work in progress, roadmap, and our team presentation. And the second is a weekly analysis divided by cards and represented by sprints, which I'm running. It is a logbook, so it is operated by the management, in this case, the product owner. I hope to keep working on everything next year, and therefore I think it's worth making this project official to our community. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, The Smith. And we definitely need to give you your proper Fox props for everything that you've done in incubating and developing the LATAM labs. All of the content that you guys are out there doing, all of the growth that you're going is unreal. I definitely did not expect to come from centralized Shapeshift into the DAO and see how great your work could create ripples for other people and really get an entirely non-English language on the same page as us so quickly. So hats off to you, good sir. And I owe you a tip of a beer for sure.
Thank you, Tyler. I really owe you a sure. And thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, The Smith. I believe if I look at my slides, that is all we've got prepped for today. We had a really, really great call there, and the first time I'm calling it early before the full hour, I want to say in a month or so. So thank you to everyone for keeping the agenda rolling. I have one last content created GIF there from Gray Machine with a beautiful best day ever Fox. I did mention very playfully that we don't have a name for this Fox yet, and maybe somehow we could decide a name for our mascot. We've gotten some great suggestions so far, but maybe we should get something aligned there. So love to see some names. I know the content creation team would love to have a big old mascot to put up wherever we want. So we got to name this Fox. So throw your names out in the chat and we'll get them to the right people. And if anyone has any questions about the governance process, about things they saw on this call today, I will do my best to tap dance here for another 45 seconds to a minute. Feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to type anything in the stage chat, and we can talk about it with the last couple minutes we have. And if I don't see that, then we are going to call it a good day and bring Lo-Fi Girl up. So, and there's our Fox in action already doing the that Leo DiCaprio cheers. Wow, love it. Couldn't have imagined it even better. Thank you, Gray Machine, for your contacts and the people that are doing the fine work here to make our DAO so fun and sticker filled. GK, thanks for bringing on Lo-Fi Girl. I was just gonna ramble for a little bit until she showed up. So thank you all. Make it a good GM, and we'll see you on the flip side.